Killru, the founder of BossUp Foundation. This is a platform that is dedicated to raising awareness about neurodiversity with specific focus on Tourette syndrome. So, the idea of neurodiversity is that no two brains work the same way, and we want to make this normal. So, like a few years ago, mental health was taboo, and now it is a widespread topic that everyone talks about on a day-to-day basis. We also want to make topics about neurodiversity normal, because my normal is not your normal, and what is different for me is different for you. So neurodiversity comprises conditions like ADHD, autism, dyslexia, and more. And Tourette syndrome is also one of it. But the thing is, in Sri Lanka or South Asia, Tourette syndrome is not spoken about much. It is prevalent as much as the other conditions, but there is little awareness about it, which leads to misdiagnosis and even not even diagnosing it. So even people with Tourette syndrome may not know they have it. Our goal is to raise awareness about neurodiversity and Tourette syndrome because there is still a lot of confusion and a lot of information about it in Sri Lanka and South Asia. Our aim is also to make sure people with neurological differences are accepted, are understood, and not judged for being different. We aim to raise awareness about Tourette syndrome through our social media platforms by educating how it affects people and especially children, because they find it very difficult to deal with it without knowing what they are going through. So our content mostly revolves around educating the audience on how to deal with TS. What are the symptoms like? How does it affect you? But also the strengths of TS. It's been 3 years since I started the BossUp Foundation, and along the way, I kind of had to disappear from social media because I haven't had the best support to take this initiative forward, because I've been doing it alone. And although it might have looked like I paused our initiative, a lot of things were going behind the scenes. I was trying to reach out to a lot of hospitals, medical experts, researchers to join me on this initiative and raise awareness with me. But unfortunately, I didn't have much support because, again, Tourette syndrome is a very new topic to Sri Lanka and South Asia. What people don't understand about TS is how drastically it affects day-to-day function, especially for children. Adults can maybe understand there's something going on, but children, they don't. And it's up to the adults around them, like parents, teachers, siblings, even elder siblings, to understand or like identify maybe the symptoms. And those symptoms are what we have to get people talking about first. We have to bring about this change by starting conversations, building a community, and pushing for early support and understanding. In 2023, we had the honor of participating in the 15th European Conference for Tourette's and tic disorders in Brussels, Belgium. This event was attended by over 400 doctors, researchers, and advocates, and we had the opportunity to present what it is like to have Tourette syndrome in a country that doesn't understand it much. We were able to reach people in over 20 countries through this event, and we were able to reach the global community with voices that matter. Our dream is to work with the Ministry of Health, schools, and professionals to bring about a massive change in Sri Lanka, so this reaches nationwide. We want to ensure children and adults with Tourette syndrome in Sri Lanka get the right early support. BossUp Foundation's mission is to build a country that is inclusive and accepts and understands people with neurodivergence.
So today we are here to talk about how we can open more doors for neurodivergent individuals in the workplaces. Not just in theory, but in real practical ways. For that, we invited Ms. Hafsa Killru, founder of BossUp Foundation. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
As my first question, I would like to know what are the biggest challenges your company faces in hiring and retaining people?
So to address your question, neurodiversity is still a topic that people don't understand or even know about much, right? So especially when it comes to a workplace, people are very used to the 9 to 5, the usual corporate style of working, right? And especially in Sri Lanka and South Asia. And there's a lot of pressure to stick to those policies and work systems and stuff. One main thing is we lose out on the opportunity to find out the exact potential of neurodivergent talent in the standard interview processes. Those are very standardized, and it's often just a face-to-face quick interview. Now it's also done virtually, right? You don't even have the face-to-face connection. It's sometimes even done on Zoom or Google Meet or whatever, and it's very quick, and even the assessments are very standardized, that it applies to just anyone. But neurodivergent people have a different way of doing things, different way of approaching things. So I feel like it all starts with the small stuff, and when it comes to interviewing them, we have to kind of give them more opportunities to bring out their strengths, because these people, they do have a lot of strengths and creativity and a lot of problem solving skills that we lose out on these standardized systems. And another thing is there's also a lack of awareness about it again. And when you're moving around with other people in a team, they also need to have an understanding of what these conditions are to support them. If not, it would look like, okay, they are not able to do this job, they're not able to take pressure, they're not able to keep up on deadlines, or they're always having boundaries and stuff like that. So it takes empathy and also understanding for people to support these people, neurodivergent people, in a workplace, and that would help retention. Without that understanding, people are going to suffer, both neurotypical people and neurodivergent people, to thrive in a workplace setting. So that it all starts with that conversation, especially in South Asia or a country like ours. It starts with the basics. Talk about it. A couple of years ago, mental health was a taboo, right? But with frequent conversations, people normalized it. Now even at workplaces, there are mental health days. Like, you can just say, I'm taking a mental health break and go, right? But people with neurological conditions or neurodivergent traits, they are not able to openly accept they have it, because for them, there are, they mask it, right? They try to hide what it is like to have neurodivergence. For example, someone with ADHD, they can completely work in a normal setting, but there are things that that'll trigger them. So even when neurodivergent people hide that they have this condition, it also affects their work capacity and capabilities, right? So there are a couple of reasons why they do that. One thing, they have a fear of being judged in a workplace setting, and another thing is they don't want to lose opportunities. They might fear, okay, if I reveal that I have this, I might not get the same opportunity as the other person. And another thing is, neurodivergent people also do not want to be defined by that label, right? It's okay to be called neurodivergent, but if there was more understanding about it, people would wear it proudly, right? And so just like we have normalized talking about mental health, we also need to normalize talking about neurological conditions or neurodivergence, because it is also normal.
After the hiring process, how neurodivergent people impacts your team dynamic and productive?
Okay. It's actually been an eye-opener. So we've had the opportunity to work with neurodiverse people. Obviously, I can't reveal who they are or things like that. And what I saw in all of them was they're great at what they do. They have so much of creativity, they have so much of focus, and they bring new information to the table always. They have a different working style from maybe the neurotypical people, but it doesn't mean it's wrong, just that they see things in a different perspective. And actually it boosts our innovative thinking in a workplace, and it's contributed greatly to a lot of things we do in positive ways, obviously. So yes, so because of that, I was able to foster a very empathetic team culture in my company. And I also saw a lot of support from the other colleagues when they got to know things like this. So we have become more adaptable, and we also have started to work around different working styles. This has actually boosted collaboration in our team. So yeah, and not just that though, neurodiversity is still something very new to introduce in a workplace. It's very subtle, you know. You can't go with a hard launch on, okay, we are accepting neurodivergent people and all. It's a step-by-step process is what I see. So one thing about my company is I don't like the toxic burnout culture or whatever. And I have been trying from the very start to be supportive to the team as much as possible. And my main aim is to bring kindness and empathy in a workplace. So I have been trying different ways to introduce different things to support my team members, and one of it was introducing 2-day paid period leaves for the menstruating people in the team. And to be honest, we were the first company in Sri Lanka to do that. And we saw a lot of people follow suit after that as well. But we had praises, which was positive and grateful for that. But there were also people who thought it was like a facade we put on for a corporate show, like just to get some publicity and stuff like that. Hope you don't stop hiring women just because they are at an advantage here and things like that. But no, so when you're trying to do something good, also there is this mindset, okay, they're doing it to get some publicity. But I think the key is to shut out the voices, and if you feel like this is right and you have the good intention, you have a mission, okay, follow that vision in your head and go ahead with it. So I think that has greatly helped me as well. So a lot of people will tell me, okay, you don't have to do so much. You don't have to try to bring kindness into business or work and stuff. But someone has to start the change, right? If not, there's no point. Someone has to take the lead. And that's how business evolves or workplace evolves. So I hope not just me, but someone else will also start that initiative to support people, because if you're going to just wait for the perfect people to join your team, you won't have a proper workforce. Workforce must be inclusive. Just like a country has different sort of people making the country a whole, a workforce is also like that. You need inclusivity and diversity. And for diversity, you need neurodivergent people in your workforce.
As you said, when they're working with a team, what misconceptions they have that when you're working with them, like sometimes we have some kind of misunderstanding, so it occurs to have encounters in the workplace. And if something happened like that, how would you address them?
Right. This is about neurodivergent people, right? Okay. So there are a couple of misconceptions that they are not suited for certain roles, or they can't handle pressure, or they don't fit into a work culture, and they can't keep up with the fast changing environment of a workplace. Those are all wrong. There are many people who are even in the top management who have these conditions, and you don't even see it. There are many celebrities actually who have even Tourette syndrome or even the other neurodivergent conditions, like even David Beckham. He has Tourette syndrome. I mean, he's a celebrity, so you can imagine, right? So they are very well capable, but the misconception is that they can't do anything. So that needs to change. I am still at the starting stage of taking the lead to change that. Again, I can't do it alone. I have been trying to do it with other collaborators and all. But again, since the topic is very new, there's little support, right? But I am doing what I can to my best. And I believe it all starts with opening conversations. It's all about conversations. Talk as much as possible about things, then it becomes normalized. And the way I have addressed it to the best of my ability is trying to understand it, accepting it, and also kindness matters a lot. That is my way of addressing this for the time being, and hopefully I am also looking to do a lot of collaborations with whoever is interested to actually take the lead in changing this. So how I have addressed this to the best of my ability right now is by taking the lead to start these conversations. I can't do it on my own, but others have to join me in. But whatever is possible from my end, I am doing it. And it all starts with understanding, accepting, and also bringing kindness wherever you deal with people. I know a lot of people say kindness is not suitable to be in business or a workplace. It's wrong. Behind a title, behind a role, there is a human. And every human has a story. They're all dealing with something. So address the human is what I think.
Next, I would like to ask what additional support or resources would help your company better integrate neurodiversity employees?
I think collaborating with the Ministry of Health itself is a very big support to us, because in the last 3 years I've been handling it alone with no clear direction on what sort of support to get, because it's a completely new topic, right? So whenever I brought this topic to potential collaborators, they were still not very sure. So I think this would be the first step where we can take this conversation beyond WhatsApp Foundation, integrate it into other workplaces as well with the Ministry of Health support, because having the Ministry of Health support is like a big pillar for us, obviously. So apart from that, I think other support can also include awareness training. And this is not just company-wise, but it also applies to schools, universities, just about anywhere we can get people to understand what neurodiversity is, what Tourette syndrome is, even other conditions like autism, ADHD, and how to identify this, right? How to be around people like this, how to help them and support them and not judge them or sideline them. That is the key. So everything starts with awareness, like I said, so that would be the first step. So definitely more awareness trainings on a very broader, with a broader reach, that would work a lot. And also, if also we can direct the neurodivergent people on the right track to getting a proper diagnosis, a better treatment. Now, when it comes to Tourette syndrome especially, there's no cure. But there are ways you can control it. So the thing is, people don't know how to get the right treatment for that. They don't know the doctors they should see, what sort of medical guidance they need. So I think if the Ministry of Health also can support us with maybe a platform or a database that can help us connect with doctors who understand neurodiversity, not just as a topic, but what it is like to live with it and truly see neurodiverse people for who they are and help them with the medical treatments or support they need, I think that would be a great breakthrough for Sri Lanka. So that is one. And yes, I think other workforces like other companies should also join in on this movement. So the more, the better to make a change.
Before ending today's episode, we have one last question. What advice would you give to a company which like to create more opportunities for neurodivergent people to work with them?
I would tell them, don't be afraid in taking the lead to create change. Leaders are leaders for a reason, and that is because they pave the path to something new. And if you're a leader, be courageous enough to take the lead, create change, and don't be afraid to bring kindness and empathy in a workplace. It definitely makes a difference.
Hiring and supporting neurodivergent employees brings a big value to a team. With a little understand and support, everyone can make a better workplace for everyone. Thank you once again, Ms. Hafsa, for your expertise and advices. That brings us to the end of our discussion. Thank you and have a nice day.